Hello and welcome to episode 34 of my playthrough of All the Mod 7 to the Sky. As you can see behind me here, we're at our little ore laser setup that we did at the end of the previous episode. I went ahead and set up one of these in the other two dimensions that we needed to, right? So now we're generating all the Modium ores. And this thing is working pretty well. I went through, I added the add-ons to every single one of these. All of the lasers are fully encased. You can see here it's working pretty well. And just to extract the items, the only thing I'm doing is I'm just using a extract node with some overclockers pulling out into an ender chest. And you can see here, like, things are zapping in and out of the ender chest pretty rapidly. So these things are actually working quite nicely. But that is actually what, like, I kind of did between episodes. I'd set them all up. Took a while. I had to obviously make all the add-ons and things like that. This cost us a lot of diamonds. I'm not going to lie to you. But now this is set up, and I can say, like, this is by far and away the best way to get these ores. I kind of believe I what is that? That's a beacon. Wasted time setting up these mystical things, because this just doesn't generate enough of the essence. It's just not enough. And if we go over here, okay, it hasn't been that long. The vibranium was the last one I set up. So I've got them all just kind of extracting from an ender chest into this draw system just for the time being, just for a little temporary, because we have to work on some other things. But vibranium was the last one I set up, and look at how fast that is going up, especially with like the 6 lenses. I think that was the biggest thing that I did, was just to upgrade our chances of getting the stuff. Like 417 vibranium. Now all the modium is at 389. Our, what is it? Unobtainium now at 817 ore. And then remember these ore, right? Like if we look at unobtainium, right? Because this is the easiest one to look up. Ore. We can right click on this. Can also be like put through our mechanism settings. So like right now, if we, this is the current plan. This is what I'm thinking. We obviously were generating too much stuff for our original setup to deal with it. It was just backing up, full stop, even just with the nether. And like, look at this. This is the end one. It's like just full of platinum. Same with our gold. We just had like too much that the system just couldn't deal with it. So I got rid of it all. We're going to fix it, because one, I was using up a lot of power and things like that. And we just couldn't keep up with the output. So now we've got this stuff that we're going to have to also factor into it and try to deal with. Like we've got separate ores, we've got added iron and like other things like that we have to like somehow pass and like throw it through the system. So the plan is probably next episode to get into the final tier of mechanism ore processing, and kind of get all of this stuff going. Like 870, if you think what each 3 of those, we look at the dissolution chamber. So each 3 unobtainium becomes 2,000 millibuckets of unobtainium slurry. Those then, 1 millibucket of that then gets cleaned, right? So it's a 1-to-1 cleaning. And then it turns into 200 turns into 1 crystal. So it goes 3 turns into 10 crystals. And then the crystals obviously just go 1-to-1 through the entire system up until they get to the ore, rather to the ingot. So it's a 3 to 10, which is pretty damn good. It's over double. And I know we do have like, I think it's like 5xing that is possible with industrial foregoing, but honestly, at the rate that we're generating this stuff, like we're almost at 1,000 unobtainium already. I honestly don't think it's necessary. Like we are generating plenty enough of it that we do not need to stress about it, I don't think. Which is all well and good. But what I want to do this episode is we're going to go deal with that guy, because our power gen currently, actually probably going to look pretty good right now. It was struggling before. We got down to about a buffer of about 1,000 FE when everything was running, as well as our ore processing and things like that. And that's just plain not good enough. We're about to run out of power and like run into serious issues with that. So this episode, we're going to convert that guy into an active reactor. And we're going to get into, if we look at bigger reactors, it's called the Turbine, is what we're essentially going to start dealing with instead. I'm not entirely sure how this thing works exactly, but we will figure it out together. It shouldn't be too difficult, as far as I'm aware. But this is also going to require us to do like a lot of crafting, right? Like that's the turbine power tap. We need the turbine casings, which require cyanite, which is, remember, the byproduct of using uranium in this bad boy, which thank goodness we have like a decent little buffer of. But yeah, we're going to use this to actually get us to the point where we are making way more power. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a quick little bit of research, figure out which items we need, figure out the size of thingy that we want to build over there of the turbine, and then come back once we've kind of made up our mind around that. All right, and we'll be back in a second. All right, so I've gone ahead and added all of the recipes that I think we're going to need to know into the system just to make my life a bit easier, and we'll go through these as we kind of get up to them. All of these are relatively easy to make. It just requires like some turbine casings, which is a bit of cyanite and things like that. Glass, everything that we already kind of have. As well as we've got this new block here that is added by bigger reactors. It's called Ludicrite. We're going to use this as a coil. Essentially, this is what the rotor, like the turbine rotor is going to spin around, and that's technically what, like, you can imagine that like this bit is like the copper in like generators and stuff that generates the electricity. This is something that at the moment this is the best that we can do, but it will be better for us in the future if we actually use unobtainium blocks, which we'll probably do, seeing as we've already got, 1.2 thousand while I said, wow, Jesus, we are creating so much of this stuff, which I generated by just kind of sitting and like doing this sort of stuff in the time being. But so let's get over here and start building. We're going to need a lot of this stuff, and I don't know how long this is all going to take to craft. I think the first thing I want to do is actually break this one and turn this from a passive, which is the power generating reactor, into an active reactor, which means we're going to need to get ourselves some reactor coolant manifolds and some coolant ports. So this is going to be how we're going to get water into and out of the system to create steam, which is eventually going to power our turbine. More than likely, our base is going to grind to nearly a halt, but we have the other generators there that are making power, so this shouldn't, hopefully it shouldn't break anything too badly. So I'm just going to break that and that to begin with. And that's our power tap and our flux point. I'm going to jump in here, and I'm actually going to get rid of all these graphite blocks, because by breaking all of these, I will know exactly how many manifolds I need to make. Oh, there's random water in there. I don't even know when these blocks of water were in here. Let's put that. I think I missed literally one piece of water when I did this. Remember when we switched it from being water to graphite in here? I don't know if I actually showed that on camera, but yeah. Alright, cool. So let's build that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 stacks of graphite plus 2. So that's how many manifolds we're going to need. So how much is that? It's 128, 256, 258 of these I need to make. So at bigger, I want reactor coolant manifolds, and I want 2, 5, 8 of these. And that crafted up really rapidly, actually. Alright. So I think now the plan with this, let's replace that with some glass, is just place these all the way around I think this is how this works. If this isn't how this works, I'm going to be kind of annoyed. I'm pretty sure we just placed this all the way around our uranium rods, I guess, at this point. If this isn't how this works, I'm actually going to be kind of annoyed. Because, like I said, I didn't really do a whole ton of research. I just kind of quickly looked. I'm just going to go into surface mode here. Go bonk. Shift click on that. Set you to surface, and then that, and then I want you to go place on top. Why are you not? Actually, no, I think I want you to go, instead of surface, I want you to go horizontal wall, like that. Bang! Oh, that's placing outside. Yikes. Alright, that's fine. We should have plenty of this stuff. Because then what I can... Oh, there's more graphite that I missed. Great! Alright, I think this is how this works. I'm just going to quickly go around and, kind of transplant all of our manifolds and stuff into the reactor, and we'll come back once I've done that. All right, cool. So I've got that all set up. The reactor manifolds are all in there. So now I think the main thing that we need to do here is get water into and out of it, which we're going to do with coolant ports, which I need these ones, the reactor coolant ports. Just 2 of these bad boys. Cool, thank you. One's going to go here in this corner. The other one's going to go over here in this corner. Going to set you as your input. Sure. And then you're going to be set as the output. So this should be the steam coming out of it. So we need water going to this. I think the sink is still the best thing we can use. And I kind of want to get as much water both into and out of this thing as possible. So I'm going to place the sink there. And I think the fastest way of us doing this is actually just using the nodes. These things from like Direwolf's mod is so good, man. It's so handy to have this stuff. I'm just going to grab some overclockers as well. 4 should be plenty for the time being. I will need more, but I want the maximum amount of water that I can going into and out of this thing. So on the downside, fluid card, extract, overclockers, 8 buckets every tick, which means 8 times 20 is how much? That is a big amount. 8 by 20 is 160 buckets every second. That is plenty fast. And now on the west side is going to be the input. Bonk. So this thing should now be filling up with water. Cool, you can see that going in there. And it's rapidly filling this tank. Maybe the manifold isn't working how I expected it to. If I turn you on, whoa. I can't input water fast enough, apparently. Look at that heat. 4,000 Gs. Okay. Let's turn you off. We are generating lots of steam. Good to know. Are you fuel rods like 100%? No? Wow. I need to put you guys like all the way in, I think. Alt, Control. Let's go 100% in for the time being. And that should be like pretty much turning this thing off. If I turn you on there, yeah, nothing should happen, right? If I go status online. Because you're generating entirely too much. Because this heat is way too high. I'm going to let this thing cool down and then see what happens. We may need to actually throw the graphite back in there and in some of the spots. But I kind of want to continue on with building this. Because the next part that I'm going to need is the turbine casings, right? And start building out the turbine. So let's just grab bigger reactors. Let's just make like 200 of you. Does that sound like enough? Probably not, but... And start outlining how big I want this thing to be. I think I'm just going to build it like directly next to it. And we'll go to the same size footprint, right? Are you not the thing that I need? Turbine casing. What did we build the thingy out of? What are you built out of? Oh, you're actually just reactor casings as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So remember this thing's a 9 by 9. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What? I thought we built a 9 by 9. Yeah, we did. Cool. So that's going to be our turbine. And then I'm just going to double the height of this thing with the turbine. So we're just going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whoop, 9, 10, oh, whoop, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 18. That should be double the height. At least for the time being, right? And then we can kind of tinker with it as we need to. But we'll come back once I've built this out. Alright, so the outside of the turbine itself has been built. Now we just need to make a couple of things. I was doing some looking through this, and I thought this was just cyanide. But now we have plutonium here. And to be honest with you, I have no idea how to get this. But I did see that in bigger reactors, there is an item called the cyanide reprocessor. I'm hoping that this is how we get it. I'm completely shooting in the dark in saying that that's how we get it, but there's only really one way to find out, because if not, I'm going to have to change my plans. And I don't know how that will go, because I would really like this to work. So if I get a cyanide reprocessor and I place this down, how do you work? What if I just make, okay, let's grab out some blue, some cyanide, goes in there. You need power, so let's grab a flux point. Flux point goes there. Let's just turn you on. And you need water. Okay. So what if I just grab the water from the sink that's over there? Yeah, let's just grab another sink, it's not that hard. Just need one of you. Thank you. Let's just place you like that. And then I'll just use one of the pipes from Mechanism. No, not pressurized. I think it's this one, the mechanical pipe. Bang, that one goes there. I need my configurator. Go bang, output. Cool. And then hopefully you turn into plutonium. Looks like it. Yes, okay, cool. Then what I can do with my wand is I can just like shift right click it a bunch. And we can see there in the top left we're generating a bunch of plutonium. Nice. Okay, we're going to need a lot of this stuff because I want a few coils of the ludicrite. And this is actually how we make the ludicrite. To get, whatchamacallit, for the coils that we want to do. We needed plutonium. I thought this was cyanide as well, but apparently not. Ender pearls we've got, blocks of emerald we can make, nether stars we can make. So right now the biggest issue is the plutonium, but since I can just kind of sit here and hold right click and use some power and turn it all into it, I can grab stacks of this stuff pretty easily. Okay, but I only needed the 2 now to make the turbine terminal. So let's make that. Thank you. Terminal can just live here in the middle. And then we need shaft bearings going up and down the middle. We've also, I put a, what are these called? The rotor bearing, one at the top, one at the bottom. Because obviously we need the rotor to go in here inside of this once it's gone. So we need the shafts. And I need, what is it? I think it's 18 minus 2, so 16 of these. So let's craft up 16 of you. And then this should just go up the middle. Bang, like that. Cool. Let's just place you. Oh, what happened? Alright, now you're technically an active thing. Sweet! Taco and how fast a turbine is spinning. Rotor performs best at 900 or 1800 RPM. Increased flow rate. Higher flow rate means increased rotor speed. Okay, I have no idea how any of this works. But we need a couple more things, right? Because we need fluid port, turbine fluid port. Need to make a couple of these. Turbine fluid port. I need 2 of you. And then one's going to go here. And then the other one's going to go over here. Because then we'll just go. Steam will go out of there into this one. And then the water can just get pulled out of this into there as well. So you're going to be set as input. You're going to be set as output. Coolio. That's that. Cause engage, vent. No exhaust. All exhaust. Overflow only. Alright. Now we need to put the, what are they called? The blades? The rotor blades on each side of this. So it's what, 16 times 3 times 4. I can't be bothered doing that maths in my head, so let's grab my phone. 16 times 3 times 4 is 192 rotor blades. U192. That is expensive. Good thing we have a lot of this cyanide. Good thing we set up this this like turbine and stuff like for. Okay, it's trying because it's trying to render it. Rather the generator before I even attempted to do any of this. 2, 3, 4. Okay, and now what I should just be able to do is use the wand to place the rest of these going up if I don't misclick. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm just going to break this so that the rendering doesn't mess with me. So I can place all of these guys going all the way up. And I'm actually not going to place them all the way up, like the entirely the way up. I'm going to leave 4 rows from the top Empty. Cool. So now you should technically be a finished turbine. You just need to deal with a couple things here. Let's just place that there. So now you're a finished multi-block. Nice. Now we need to do the coil part, I think. And obviously I need to set up a power tap for it. So let's go there. Let's grab the turbine, whatever it's called. What is it called? Turbine power tap. I need one of these bad boys. Thank you. Turbine power tap can just go here next to it. Cool, so that's how our power is going to come out. I'm just going to chuck our plug back onto it. Now I need to get steam into and out of this thing. I'm just going to use nodes since we've already got it. Since we're already using one. Ooh, it's a liquid. Yeah, it should work. This should work. This should work. We may as well grab some overclockers as well. And just let this thing run as fast as possible. Cool. So laser node goes there. On this side is our fluid input. On this side is our fluid extract with overclockers to max. Cool, cool. Your reactor cooler output. And then what I'm going to do is hopefully if I set you, bang, as a fluid extract. I can't change the priority on this one, can I? It's just the input priority. I thought I could set export priority, but I can only do input priority. Interesting. We'll see how this works. Right, there's no water coming in for some reason. Is it because I turned it off? What if I turn you on now? No, there's no water coming in. Why is there no water coming in? Input. More fluids from the reactor. Cool. That's that. You're full of uranium and stuff. Yes, there we go. Water's coming in now. Alright, so I don't want to turn you on. Alright, sweet. This is all running. Steam is going out. We should see this thing filling up with steam. No, you just got air. Direction output. Output. Your input. Fluid input. Why are you not working? Because if I turn you on, nothing's going to happen. Maybe nodes don't work with this. Yeah, because you're just full of steam still. I think I'm going to have to use the mechanical stuff from mechanical pipe from mechanism to do this. Just put you there. Yeah, there we go. And then your extract, your insert. You should be filling up with steam now. Beautiful. If I turn you on, our flow rate, governor, how fast the turbine will process the fluids, rotor efficiency, increased flow rate. Aha! Okay, so this RPM thing, I want to get that essentially as high as possible while not running out of steam, which currently we're going like as well as possible. And then the water's not going anywhere. I wonder if I can just void. I'm just going to void the water actually from this thing. Let's turn it off. I'm just going to void the water. Let's turn you off because this thing also generates this water. So if that's going to be the case, what I'll just do is I'll move this one to over here. Bang. And then that one can go there. And then you are going to be output just in from into a whatchamacallit, fluid bin, fluid trash can. Let's just use the ultimate trash can that's there. That can go there. I need some more mechanical pipes. Bang. You go there. I'm going to set you as extract, yours insert. Let's turn you back on. Okay, we're only using 2510, so millibuckets a tick. How many are you generating? Do you tell me how many you're generating? I guess that's the max you can possibly generate. What if I just like spam you up? I want to get the RPM to, I think it was 1800. And if it is, it means we're like actually not big enough on this turbine. Jeez. This is moving quite fast. Alright, we're going too fast. Decrease. Stop climbing, please. I'm pretty sure these things explode once they go too fast. Stop it. I don't like it. Okay, that's going down now. Slowly it's going down. Oh, it's back to 0. I need this to... Why are you climbing still, bro? Just stop. Just generating coils. Engage. We'll engage the turbine rotor speed. Oh, that's right. We don't have any coils. That's why it's not working. I was like, why are you not generating power? Right. We need to make the ludicrat blocks, which means I need a ton of plutonium. How many do I need? I was 4 rows, so 4 by 8 is how many I needed. 4 times 8. This is easy math. That's 32. All right. So if I put you away, and then I look up ludicrat, and I need 32 of you. This will tell me how much plutonium I need. I need 104 plutonium and 64 bucks of emerald, but that's easy. So I'm going to make that really quickly. I'm just going to sit here and hold right click with my acceleration wand, and we'll come back once I've done this. All right, that should be the last of the plutonium that had to go in. Let's grab my ludicrat. 32 worth. Cool, I've got the plutonium. I just need to make the emerald blocks, which should be, again, nice and easy. I'm just going to grab that. Oh, that's 3 stacks worth. That's probably plenty. Now I can grab my ludicrat. And I want 32 of them. All right. So this should now be the last piece of the puzzle here. I'm just going to break this. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to place these around the rotor just here. So we're going to go bang, bang, bang. I'm pretty sure it only needs to go around the, like the shaft itself. So these 2 blocks here are kind of useless. They don't need to be there. But now I can just go, oh, it's not actually letting me. I was just going to place these. Actually, it probably will. I'm just not on the right thing. No, there we go. 1, 2, 3. I need 1 more row of these. Donk, donk, donk. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Oop, not that one. 3. 1, 2, 3. That one goes there. And then I can place 1 more row of that. I need my pickaxe so I can get out of here. That's that. Cool, the multi-block is set again. So now if I turn you on, then I increase this, it should start spinning, and as it starts spinning, it's going to start generating us RF. Now, is this thing big enough is my question. To like actually utilize the amount of steam we're generating? The answer is probably no, but I'm going to sit here and wait for this RPM to kind of settle down, and then once it does, we'll come back and kind of fine tune it, right? Because I think I want this to sit at 1800. All right, we're currently, all right, so I did some tweaking. At this point, we were using 16 buckets a tick worth of steam, right? But I think we're legitimately just bottlenecked by the amount of water we're able to get into this thing. Because since we're only able to do, what, 8 buckets a tick because of the sink here, that's as fast as this thing can transport. How much does the fluid pipes do? You're doing 128 millibuckets a tick. Pump rate 32 millibuckets a tick. Actually, I think these are technically faster. 32, there's 32 buckets a tick, and you're what? 8 buckets. Oh, okay. Well, that's silly. Let's break that. Let's place that down instead. And then let's get U pulling and extracting in. That should get us, what, yeah, 32 millibuckets a tick. Or 32 buckets a tick, right? Which means this thing could then potentially use up to 32 buckets a tick of steam. I don't know if it's exactly 1-to-1, but that's where our bottleneck was currently. No, our bottleneck is this. We can only generate about, what's this? 15 buckets a tick worth of steam. So that's where our bottleneck is, and this isn't at full efficiency yet. I don't know what the go would be then to get more heat transfer out of this thing. Maybe throwing in some graphite and stuff in there, or like unobtainium and things, like a couple rows of that would help this. This is going to take some tweaking. I'm going to play around with it, and we'll come back in a second. I'll see what happens. I'm going to add like a row or two of like graphite in between the fuel rods and see what happens. Oh, my fuel rods are also like only 70% in. So I think the idea here would be try to get my case heat as high as possible. So maybe I get rid of the graphite, right? Because nothing's changed. And our case heat went up. I added the graphite and the case heat went up. So I think I want that down to try to get this as like efficient as possible. Hold on. So let's get rid of the graphite. I want to add the manifold back. Right, and by changing nothing, our case heat should be down, right? If I turn you back on. Our fuel heat is all as high as it is, that's fine. And then case heat, yeah, that's it. Roughly half at 70% fuel rod. So what if I then go press Alt and that, and then we retract it to 50% rod insertion on all of them? How's our case heat doing then? Wow, that didn't climb up by very much. But there you can see our buckets a tick shot up as well. So by doing that, actually I think it was better. The case heat was higher. We were generating more steam with 17.6. Let's go back to 70. Hold on, I'm doing some testing. This is not making any sense to me. Oh, I want to go. Let's go back to 70. And I'm going to replace this with graphite again and see what happens. Case heat is up, but we're making 22 buckets a tick at the same amount of fuel usage. Not that the fuel usage is really an issue. We've got so much of this uranium. How much do we have? 84,000 worth. It's actually quite a lot. So we could potentially just like not care about this number. I don't know how these reactor manifolds work, but that's making more water, which means I could then move this up. And look at this, we're already making double the amount of power we were doing before. It's 126,000 RF a tick, 128. And that's not even at like max efficiency. Right, because we're not even using like all of the steam that we had built up that we can possibly use, right? Because this is making what, 22 buckets a tick? 164. We should be like nearing that 200,000 RF. Okay, you're still climbing. What if I get you to 20 buckets? Let's see where that ends us up. All right, so as the numbers are going, I think this is currently the most efficient we can get it, right? We're at 20.2 buckets a tick of steam going in, gets us to around, it'll be about 1800 RPM, which is making us nearly 300,000 RF a tick. So now the only thing I got to do now, if I really want to be like super efficient with it, is balance it so our reactor is only making 20.2 buckets, right? So right now we're at, well, it's at 20.2 anyway. But I think we saw that this was at 22. So what if I now drop, like rather get the rods in, essentially 75. Let's see what that does to it. I want to see this number start to go down. which it isn't yet. Once that number starts to go down, we know we've hit that kind of point of equilibrium. And like we're using like nearly no fuel, which is crazy. It's like less than a millibucket a tick worth of uranium. There we go, 19.5. Cool. So now we're using less than this is like using. So then we go, oops, we want to retract about 2%. What does that get us to? So it's 77 now. That gets us to 20.1, 20.2. Oh, we're like right about there. Okay. So then we'll go, oh, retract to 76%. And we're using, well, it's 20.4. It's a slight surplus, but we're using like no fuel at all to generate silly amounts of RF, which means now we have more than enough of a buffer to finally get everything here upgraded to netherite, which we start using then. How many RF a tick? How much do you use a tick? About 8,000 each a tick. So all of this stuff can be maxed out for our ore production, which means next episode we can start doing ore processing at like the highest level as well, with pretty much no issues, right? Because we've like tripled our power production. Not quite, but a bit over triple, a bit under triple rather. That to me is a win, and this thing is obviously like we can make it better. We can make this turbine bigger. Might even just like try make like a max size turbine and see what we can do with it. Because our fuel heat is pretty high. I want to see that like the fuel heat and case heat kind of even out, but that doesn't really matter because we're using so little fuel at a time anyway. I'm not sure exactly. I forget how many millibuckets is an ingot, but we have like 82,000 uranium, which is like entirely too much. 84,000, never mind. So efficiency really isn't an issue for us at this point. We can pretty much go for like a max size turbine if we wanted to, which we may do, but if we do it, I'll do it off camera because this took a while. It's been like an hour and 15 worth of recording to get to this point, which I don't know how long this episode's going to be, but it's quite a long time. So yeah, let's leave it there. Next episode, we'll come back and start working on ore processing. I'm going to upgrade all of these bad boys to netherite, and we'll come back once that's done on the next episode. So if anyone is still watching, thank you all for watching. Make sure you like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.